Hey guys, my name is Jerome Carty from Kisai Labs. I'm based out of New York, and we're here to talk about HTML5 frameworks and libraries that are up-and-comers. So we'll discuss libraries, handling touch events, drawing graphs and charts in our HTML5-based applications, templates that make it very easy on you so you don't have to do too much work, and MVC as well as performance and how it benefits you. For frameworks, we'll discuss gaming frameworks like Coco's 2D HTML5 and Construct 2. So, handling touch events. This great library called Hammer.js, which allows you to do gestures, single, finger, double. There's up to 4 touch points on BlackBerry 10. So it's a JavaScript library for multi-touch, has full BlackBerry 10 support. It also works on the BlackBerry playbook, but BlackBerry 10 has far better support. It's very lightweight, takes very little memory. It's easy to implement, and it's a standalone library, so there are no dependencies unless you'd like to work with jQuery. Then you can use the jQuery plugin. And there's a link if you guys need it. But the slides are available after the session's over. So you can touch wherever you want, as much as you want. Tap, double tap, hold and drag, swipe, transform or pinch, or handle all of the events as you wish. So for standalone library usage, it's pretty much a 3-line set of code. So if you need to do an on-hold, you can set how long you'd like the person or the user to hold down on the screen. And once you do so, you can actually bind an event to it and just trigger a callback on it. So you also have on-drag, which allows you to do the same, and on-release allows you to handle an action as well. So I'll have a demo for you in a second. jQuery usage is the same, or very similar. You define your Hammer object, then you bind on-drag, and you also bind on release. So on-drag, you handle your event as it's moving, and once you lift your finger off the screen, then you can decide which action you'd like to take. So we have a demo called Grumpy Chad by Chad Tatro. You guys may know him. He's a great developer evangelist for BlackBerry, and you guys can follow him on Twitter. So let me switch over. So what he actually did with this one, which is pretty funny, is he allows you to tap on his mouth to open it, double tap on his nose so he can squint, and do a little swipe to swipe his head open. And yeah, that's the Grumpy Chat demo. So Hammer allows you to do quite a bit using HTML5 as far as gestures are concerned. It's very easy to use and makes for a nice experience in your application if you take advantage of those features. Oh, if anyone has any questions during the session, it's fine, but we'll also have a Q&A for afterwards. So for drawing graphs and charts, there's a Floater2.js. It's a simple JavaScript library that allows for drawing HTML5 charts and graphics. Link is also there, but you can do bar charts, line charts, anything you desire. So it's very straightforward. It's free, which is also, it's always a great thing. It's open source, so you can actually either contribute to the code or just look into the code to see if there's anything that you need to tweak, etc. And the drawing is also fast enough to be animated, so I can actually show a demo of the application and it actually being animated as well. So here we have a simple code. You have an array which plots out each point on the graph or the chart. Then you have a second array. You can just push where you want your sine curve to be on the chart. And then you simply just call it with floater.draw, and it'll take care of the rest for you. There's very little code that you actually have to do. So it's a very, very easy library to use. So we have a sensors demo that I'd like to show off, which is going to actually show you some charting based on some of the sensors in this phone. Okay, cool. All right, so for the accelerometer demo, it's actually showing you your X, Y, and Z points, as you can see as I'm moving the phone. It's actually plotting it out. I guess once I go past my 0 on the Z, it's a little crazy, but gives you an idea of what you can actually do. You can actually take your WebWorks application or HTML5 application and tie into the sensors on the device. One that I really like is the proximity. Since these phones have a proximity sensor in them, it's actually detecting the light for the phone. So if I cover it, then you can see that there's nothing being sensed by the device. But if I move my hand, then you can see that it's showing you the chart. And I think we have one more. I guess gravity. Gravity also shows you the same thing as I'm moving it. Well, we've got the same issue here. Okay. So you guys get the idea, pretty much. All right. So, like I said, the demo actually uses all the BlackBerry 10 sensors. There are quite a few sensors in the device, so let's say take advantage of them and use them in your application and just do something cool with them. So we have templates made easy. It's Handlebars.js actually is a great library that provides templates for you and just gives you a little extra oomph in making sure that you're using reusable code as opposed to writing everything out and building things using strings, etc. So it's cross-browser. It has semantic templates, and it's great for localizing content. So, being here in Amsterdam is a testament to having multiple languages in your application and just making sure that you're supporting every user that supports you. So handlebar templates are very easy. They look just like regular HTML, but they have embedded handlebars expressions, which are mainly just 2 curly braces on each end, and then you just define which variable on your object you'd like to print inside of the HTML. So for instance, you have I'll show you on the next slide. You have a source, which has your template in it. Normally, they're stored in JavaScript tags, and they just have like X template. I forgot the whole thing, but it's on the next slide. And it'll have your actual template in it, which is here. Then you need to get your object, which has your title and your body. Execute your template, which is your simple template call, which was defined up there after compiling. And here's your template here, which then translates it to the HTML over there. So it's very easy to take the same HTML fragment of code and turn it into quite a few blocks. So if you're using it in, let's say, a list view or something like that, you can actually very quickly build out a full list of items, if you will, using the same code for each one. So localization, we have a demo for localization as well. Dynamic language support is available on BlackBerry 10, and the content generated is generated in real time from the template. So we'll take a look at that. Okay. So as you guys can see, the app right now is in English, but since we're here in Amsterdam, I may want to change it to Dutch. If I can get to it. And if I swipe up, go back into the app, as you can see, huh?
It's German, not German.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I think I picked the wrong one. As you can see, it automatically switches out to the language that was chosen in the options screen. So that has a language on change listener in the application. So when the user actually changes the language in the application, in the settings, it automatically knows to take this template from Handlebars and actually switch it out. So I have one more language, and I was afraid I was going to do that too, but I did it anyway. It's fine. Let's change it to Spanish. Oops, wrong one. And just like that, it actually just updates on the fly for you. So the templates are actually stored in separate blocks, and as you can see, just right off the bat, you can have localization in your app with very little effort. Okay. So MVC performance. So we're going to talk about Backbone.js and Require.js. So Backbone.js is a library that allows for model viewer controller support in HTML5 applications. So what that does is encourage code reuse. Views are rendered using templates, just like handlebars, and since Backbone requires _JS as a requirement, you can also use _JS as your template engine. But handlebars provide you with a little bit more flexibility and power, so it's your choice. It has a flexible routing system. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know, but on HTML5, normally when you're building a single page HTML5 application, it becomes a little tough to keep track of where the user is within the application. So you'd like to have something that can actually handle a lot of this for you, and that's exactly one of the things that Backbone.js does. So it maintains state using the browser's history. So you can actually have back and forward buttons using a standard, let's say, mobile HTML5 application. And then it'll just handle all that. Bookmarks, like I said, moving back and forth between the application using the back button. And if you need to save state to go out of the app and come back in, it'll actually allow you to do that as well. It's also another very small and lightweight library, and it encourages small and precise updates to the UI when the UI is updated. So picture that we fetch weather data, and then we get back this object that gives us a little bit of info on the weather. If we wanted to update the UI, we could just bind the whole view to update when any part of the data changes. However, it's a little bit better to bind smaller pieces of the UI. Let's say, for instance, you have an icon that represents whether or not it's sunny or rainy. You'd actually just want to bind on that as opposed to the whole view and then just update the whole thing in one shot. So these are the web apps that actually use Backbone.js today. USA Today, RDO, Foursquare, SoundCloud Mobile, Trello, Pandora, Group Now, CloudOp, and many, many more. So are you convinced yet as to whether or not you should be using this? I mean, it's a lot of popular apps up there, so I would say just at least give it a look. So Require.js is actually a file and module loader that uses AMD, which is asynchronous module definition syntax. It lets you split your code up into smaller modules, so you're actually making more reusable code. So it allows you to take your modules and you can use them with relative paths or absolute paths if you want to. And one thing I've run into when using this is you end up with a lot of small files, but that's not an issue. You can actually use the R.js optimizer to combine all your files into one big file, and then you're reducing the amount of HTTP requests that you're making in your application. So that actually gives you better performance. So here's how you define an unnamed module in Require.js. You simply just call define. You pass in an anonymous function or a named function if you'd like. You can define your view and your definition and your logic for it. And then you just include where it needs to be and create an instance of it. So here you have modules v1 in the main, which is there. And then in this function at the very bottom, you can actually define it, instantiate it, and then just use it as you'd like. So you can do all of this without calling script tags in your main HTML, and it's pretty much all dynamic. So how do you make your distributable compatible with non-ADM projects? Almond.js is another library that helps you to do so. So it ensures that the optimized build will run across all JavaScript projects, and it removes the need for Require.js, which is, I would say, a good thing in terms of helping with performance. So every single page non-modular project can now use your library while you have the convenience and coding comfortability using modules. So here's an example of a build.js config for R.js, which is the optimizer that combines all the files, and Almond.js, which is your optimizer that removes the requirement for Require.js. So you're just passing in where your source code is. You pass in your path to Almond.js, and then you just include everything that is required of your application. Now, it can also strip out comments, etc., but some people may prefer or actually are required to leave those in. And then you just define an output file as well as how you'd like to optimize or minify your final file. So you can use uglify.js if you'd like. So a great example of an application that uses Backbone and Require.js is the USA Today, which is available on BlackBerry World for download. So I'm going to switch over to that now so we can take a look. So don't think I'm on Wi-Fi right now. But looks like it's loaded. So it's very responsive. If you actually go into one, I'm not going to go into a video, but this application was built using Backbone and Require.js. So it's very easy for them to take, let's say, this list, which is a block of templates, and just define it very easily without much work. So you can see the UI looks very unified and things look the same all the way down, and that's pretty much it. And it follows the UI guidelines as well, so I'm going to switch back. So we're going to move over to HTML5 games now. Hopefully this is going to be a fun demo. So you have Cocos 2DS, which is based off of Cocos 2DX, and it's an HTML5 implementation of it. It's available under the MIT license, which means that you should be able to use it without issue. WebGL support is in the works, which you guys know or may not. That is a substandard of OpenGL, and it's available on cocos2dx.org. So it allows you to use common game components that you need to use in an HTML5 game. So it has resource management. It has sprites and animations. It comes with an audio engine. Allows you to create user input. Has textures and fonts, menus, tile maps, debug output, and also has a great physics engine as well. So if you'd like to add, a little extra moment of charm in your app, then it's a great thing to add to it. So there's API documentation on cocos2dx.org, as well as tutorials, your forums, feature and issue trackers, and more. But there are also demos and tutorials, sprite sheets, and more on Game from Scratch and GitHub as well. So you guys should check it out. So BoxQuest is also another demo that I have available on the device. And I'm just going to kind of run through it and just give you a little sample of how it looks. May need to change my language too. All right, so it's a very simple game. The controls are on the left side, but they're not as visible. So you can actually jump with the green cube that you see on the left side. Now I'm moving towards the center. Not too good at this. And did not mean to do that. But you guys get the idea. So it has physics in it. It actually allowed you to set up touch events on the screen, a joystick, etc. Yeah, I'm not doing too well. So yeah, it's a very basic demo, but it actually just gives you an idea of what you can do with Cocos 2DS. Okay. So they actually use a skeleton, sprites, and tile maps, physics, which you saw when I was jumping up and down with it, and there are virtual controls in the app as well. So Construct 2 is another framework that allows you to create compelling HTML5 games without writing too much code, or no code at all. It's developer friendly. There's a free license available, but if you are planning on making more than $5,000 US, you may need to buy a commercial license. It's got resource bundles, has extra downloads in case you need more for your game, and it's available at this link. It allows for drag and drops, which is pretty cool. So you can just take anything that you need in your game, drag it into the interface, and then you can actually implement either of those things in your game very easily. So it has complex behaviors, another physics engine. It's got platform specifics, so if you need to get into the native end of your device, you can do so. It's got camera controls, interactions, and animations. So it also has events that are based on actions or circumstances as well. So here are a few games that were built using Construct 2. But like everything else, I showed off this demo, but I have another demo for you guys too. Oh, and this is launching exclusively on BlackBerry 10. It's called Fuzzy Stackers. Not sure if you guys can hear that, but. And as I was practicing yesterday, I found out I'm not too good at this either, so just gonna. Okay. So the idea of the game is to just stack up to the line. And there you go. Let's try that one more time. But you can see that they added physics to the game. It's got some sprites. It's got audio in it. And like I said. So you guys get the idea. It's a pretty fun game. It looks very easy to use, and they did this with very little effort. So you guys should give a Construct 2 a bit of a look and just see. If you're not, accustomed to building HTML5 games, then I would say that that's a framework that you should look at more so than Coco's 2D HTML5. So now I'm going to pass it over to Manrique.
Okay. Thank you, Jerome. Mm-hmm. So this is my time to speak another framework. This one is from TapQuo, the company I work for. So I'm going to explain a little bit what is TapQuo despite a long coffee, because it has taken too much coffee. I think too many coffees, too much time. So let's explain how we arrived here to make this framework. I think it was 2010. We started our own startup and doing mobile applications. We would like to create a great user experience in the mobile market. So we started taking all the frameworks that were actually in the market in that days, and there was something wrong. All of them were a lot of fallbacks, thinking about supporting Symbian, supporting Internet Explorer 6, and this kind of great browsers that were in the market at that time. And they were not based in HTML5. So as a company, we love W3C. I've been working with W3C for more than 5 years in the beginning in the accessibility part, then in the mobile web initiative, when there was nothing like Symbian browser and was something like we would like to browse the web using our mobile phones, and it was no iPhone, nothing related with that. So we started there thinking it will happen. So when I started our own company, we say it will happen. Browser, we arrived to the web, we arrived to the mobile phone, so why not creating a good framework for that? So we started discussing internally how we would like it looks like. What would be the features for this framework? It should take advantage of HTML5 APIs and the spec that was being discussed. It's not yet a recommendation, an official recommendation. Maybe next year, we don't know. 5 years ago, it was something like impossible to think about when HTML5 is going to be a spec, a real recommendation from the W3C. The other feature is we are thinking about mobile environment. You are moving around, so no desktop libraries in our framework. We need to reduce, to optimize the code, so don't think about Internet Explorer 6, don't think about Internet Explorer, well, don't think about Internet Explorer, okay? It should have some powerful API that could use all this, not only the DOM handling, but when the browser was running in a touch screen, we need to take care of touch events, no click, okay? If you click on a screen, it's supposed to break the screen, okay? If clicks, then breaking. Thought of border browser, it take care of font face and retina displays and these vector-based graphics, semantic markup, okay? In HTML5, we have footer, header, footer, nav, these kind of things. We have CSS for making the animations, the customization, the look and feel, so no JavaScript for making an animation. There is CSS3, so use it. It should support add-ons or sugas. You can create your own plugin for example, taking care of maps, localization, and things like that. And it would be open source. So we created Lungo. This is our framework. This is what we are presenting here. And OK, it's very easy to prototype, to write your interface. It's nothing despite HTML5. Nothing else, no magic. It's just read the spec, write HTML5, and it looks like an application at the end. It uses an API, JavaScript library that is just 16 kilobytes that handles, I think, almost everything you will need. I think this is the last one. Yes. Yes, I will make a demo then. Touch, gesture, and events. Can I use the device, please? Yeah. I think it's number 7. So let's see. What is the browser? I need the browser. OK, this is real demo. OK. Here it is. So this is an app. It's a web page. You can look downside. It's lungo.tapquo.com/example. You can load it in your devices. And this is just HTML5, nothing else. For example, I'm thinking about the things that Quo.js take care of. For example, touch events were here. So you can tap, single tap. Of course, you can make double tap. But you can also, let's see, pinch in, pinch out. You can rotate things. Rotate left, rotate right. Everything can be controlled using this framework. Oops. OK. So back to the slides. I think it's number 3. Yes. So the API is taking care of events. They have some ingredients. That is the API itself is supporting things like CacheDB, IndexDB, and things like that. Device taking care of GPS connection. And we have sugars for calendar, Gmaps, accessing the contacts if it's already supported in the device, because not every device is supporting that. I have a video, but I think you can search it on YouTube. If you search for YouTube on TapQuo, you will see this demo of the same application, the same HTML running in almost 5 different devices. We haven't BlackBerry on that time, so sorry. But it works in a BlackBerry. This is the demo, live demo we have here. And I think one of the success of why we are here now presenting this framework is when BlackBerry announced the BlackBerry 10 operating system, they say, OK, the browser it has is the best browser in the market supporting HTML5. We tested, and actually, the demo, the kitchen sink we have created flies on the device. So it's like this relationship between Lungo, HTML5, and BlackBerry is that way. If you create a device that supports HTML5, the best HTML5 support, the best Lungo apps you are going to create using this framework. One last thing, just for finishing, if you have some question, is just no, yes. So we see. I think it was number. It's a little video we have done. Okay. Me parece que no lo podéis oír. No audio outside. Let me see.
And your projects viewed on different devices around the globe.
Can you hear it? Okay.
Well, now that
This is our
everything's
promo
connected
video
to
you can
make
see
life
in the web page for the
language
new
should
version.
get in the way. That's why we've created a solution which will allow you to develop for all platforms at the same time. And and lets you express your creativity freely, ensuring that it reaches any device. And now, you can even develop for that special medium which has brought the world to us. Television. Lungo. Create anywhere.
That's Lungo. The idea is during next month, we are going to release support for smart TVs and big screens in the television doing the same HTML. So notification, everything is going to look and feel and adapt to the device you are using. It's number 3, right? So during next month, we are going to release the first beta of the support. Yesterday, or during last week, we have released full support for BlackBerry 10. We have tested on devices, and it's already working. And that's us, our company, our CTO, the one in the top left, is the creator of Lungo. Maybe you know it by Soy Javi in Twitter. And I can post it later. And that's our company and our product. If you have any questions, here we are.
Do you have an example where you can see
Code?
code, yeah.
Yes, it's actually published in GitHub. If you look for Lungo in the GitHub, you have all the code there. And even the kitchen sink is the example I have running is in the web page. You can test it and see how it behaves.
Any more questions? Or?
No more questions? I know it's pretty, but I'm sure you have some questions. All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Sorry, Ed.
I don't think my mic is on.
Hi, it's actually a question for Jerome. It's nothing to do with HTML5, but when is Black for BB10 coming out? I've been waiting.
I can't answer that question right now. Let's just say by next month, the latest. But do you guys have any questions on, either Manrique's slides or HTML5, performance, MVC, any of these frameworks in general?
Hey, I was wondering, we heard a lot about that HTML5 wasn't powerful and wasn't performing very well. How is that those days? Like Facebook dropped the HTML5 version. How do you experience the HTML5 to work now?
So since we have a little time for this, I'm not sure if you guys saw that Accenture actually put out a demo called Fastbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what is your own opinion?
What is my opinion of it? I think it's ready. I think they didn't take the time out to do the research with as many engineers as they had to actually improve the performance of the app. And they just did it all too fast. I think they just tried to get it on as many platforms as possible. You have so many quirks on each platform's browser or rendering engine that it just doesn't make sense for them to just do it all in one shot. So I think it's ready. I'm pretty sure there are many that would oppose to me saying so, but I think it's ready. No problem. So any other questions?
Advice for someone to start making games for HTML5? Which platform or which library should I try first?
So the question was, as someone who's just starting out, which framework should they use? I would recommend Construct 2 if you're just trying to get something into, let's say, an app store or in a browser as soon as possible. Yeah. But if you'd really like to go a little bit deeper and actually work on things like performance, et cetera, and just have full control over it, then something like Cocos 2DX would be pretty good. But definitely Construct 2, it's very easy to get started. Everything is drag and drop. If you have your graphic assets already, and it makes it very easy to just jump right in and start working on it actually today if you wanted to. No problem.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.